New visitors to this channel may well wonder what I'm doing. Perhaps think he's lost the plot. If you've watched this channel for a year or so, you'll know I've lost the plot. But there is scientific reasoning behind my actions underneath this tree. While there's still some leaves on the tree, there's still too many actually. It's still looking for dangly leaves. Those dangly leaves which can be the giveaway to one of Nottingshire's rarest butterflies. I've been working a circuit round most of Clipston Old Quarter today, and I've just come down by a black pool and I'm working my way back round. Hopefully I'm going to head up towards the centre tree, but of course what I'm really looking for are L3 or third instar larvae of the purple emperor butterfly, and it's the dangly leaves that are held on by a silken thread which can be the giveaway clue to the location of any L3 larvae that are present. Now still, despite giving it another week, many of the goat sallows here at Clipston Old Quarter in Sherwood Forest are still in various states of foliage amounts. Some still quite green like this one, lots of foliage still at the top, but most likely location for any L3 larvae of purple emperors are going to be more within the tree, under the canopy, and at about 8 feet high. But I've checked dozens of trees so far of sallows, all to no avail. There's not been a sign of a dangly leaf anywhere, but that's not unexpected, what with the huge loss of eggs and larvae in the summer of 2022. Out of 40 known eggs, only one larva survived, but that was MP2. MP2 subsequently died in captivity after undergoing an unprecedented 6 molts. 2 other larvae were found later in the summer, and one of those is successfully at home on my backyard, and the other one is still in Clipston Old Quarter, hopefully, although I looked for it recently and found no sign of it on the branch that it was on, but we live in hope that it has survived. That's the only one that's actually known to be up here at the moment, so finding a dangly leaf would be really something if we could find one. Often give the trees just a slight pull, especially now it's gone still like it is now. It is occasionally quite windy today, or certainly breezy, and that's due to the presence of a cold front which is drawing ever closer and is due to come over and produce some heavy rain this afternoon. And although this tree, this particular sallow, might seem too small to be of any use to purple emperors, that's not always the case. It's growing in the right place. It's, as you can see, it's growing in the shade of several mature trees, and it is large enough for a female purple emperor to visit it, deposit an egg before moving on. It's important to keep monitoring these smaller trees. You never know, you can never rule anything out, because purple emperors can't read books, so they don't know exactly where they've been told to lay. But the important thing is that if we keep monitoring these smaller trees growing along trackside such as this, then we're able to try and inform the location of those eggs or larvae, or at least the sallows that are being used, to the relevant management of the site. That's something that we've been doing, or been trying to do. However, we've lost a trackside, a whole trackside near the centre tree of sallows like that fairly recently, where it was cleared. But it was a trackside that was being used by purple emperors. We know at least one egg that was up there. It's now gone, I'm afraid. Now there's no dangly leaves on this young sallow, which is growing in the ideal place. It does get quite a bit of sunshine for part of the day, but then once the sun's at its highest point, and then for the rest of the day, it's pretty much in shade. There's a number of different sallows here at Clipston Quarter and throughout Sherwood Forest NNR. Not all are the really big, thick, leathery-leaved goat sallows or Salix caprea. There's some, I believe, Salix cinereana, I think it is, which is a smaller leaved sallow, smaller, more delicate leaved sallow. And then there seems to be sort of hybrids between the two. But I think I have a theory that the best success for finding a dangly leaf and then subsequently a purple emperor larva may come from one of these smaller leaved, more sort of delicate of sallows. The leaves seem to go yellower more, and being a lighter weighted leaf are more likely to break off but still be hanging on by the literal thread. Goat sallow leaves, certainly a lot of the ones that I've been looking at, seem to be too heavy for me. Maybe the very end of the leaves, or very end leaves on a twig like that, might be worth looking for on the larger leaf goat sallows, but I think success could come in the form of these smaller leaves. However, it's still not come yet. This particular part of the forest is actually the highest point of Sherwood Forest as far as I'm concerned. Not far off the centre tree, which is that way, but the trees that you can see that have the lighter green leaves on are all sallows. There's several just behind the camera there, and then there's these that run down here. In fact, there's a line of them that go down to where the pines are at the bottom. This was formerly pine plantation a few years ago, and the danger is that when these silver birches come to be thinned at some time in the future, that the sallows go the same way and get thinned. Mature sallows in Sherwood Forest are quite frankly thin on the ground. There should be a lot more, but indiscriminate management has taken a lot out, and sallows, as I often mention in spring videos, are of vital importance to a range of invertebrates. Nearly every invertebrate that hibernates over winter requires nectar during the spring, and sallows provide that nectar. Also provide somewhere for purple emperors to live on. And the sad part is that some more trees are due to come out. Now, I accept that pines are indeed a crop and are to come out. It's also part of the sort of general management plan. But in the process, or in the preparation process of taking those trees out, pretty much everything trackside is also taken out or chopped down. And we fear that in the area that I'm going to walk through next, a lot of the sallows that are trackside and in the way of the contractors who are being brought in to do the felling will be in the way and will go. Might even include these. You never know with this place. Now, a dangly leaf, although it's been caught up, I'm wondering, as it tries to struggle free, you can see the leaf as I mean, it's obviously dangling and held by a thread, but is it the thread from a spider's web? I'm beginning to ask myself. Time to check it out. There's more of the area that's going to be thinned where the pines are coming out. Thankfully, in this section that you can see in front of you, there's not much, if anything, in the way of sallows. But there are some sallows just behind me here, and that's the sallows that you can see straight in front. There's a bit of a clearing here, and this is likely to be a place, or one of the places, that they'll set aside for the use of storing logs and for the lorry to come down and pick them logs up. It's been used as such before, which will be a shame because it was an absolute carpet of common spotted orchids this spring. It was quite stunning. But purple emperors have been seen to lay in the sallows, the large sallows in the centre of your photo. And the fact that there's pines behind them means that those sallows are almost certainly going to go. Now, more or less centre of the screen, there's a dangly leaf. Exactly what I'm looking for. Well, when I say exactly, I'm sort of stretching it a little bit, and I'll show you why. And this is the dangly leaf. This is exactly what I've been looking for. Not quite exactly. I'm stretching it a little bit. But it does have something very, very strongly to do with purple emperors, because this is a dangly leaf that I've seen before. And it wasn't until I got closer to this leaf and pulled the branch down and had a look at it that I knew that I'd seen it before. Because on the back of this dangly leaf, that pale yellowish creamy thing, is half a pupa, or the remaining half of a pupa. Earlier in the summer, Nick and Samantha Brownlee and myself were very fortunate to see the butterfly that emerged out of this pupa. Nick and Samantha had been monitoring this larva for over a year that created this pupa, and on the morning when emergence was predicted, we arrived here to find that emergence had already taken place, and we were treated to, well, I can't say more than I'll never get closer to a purple emperor in all my life. And now I think it's time I put a clip in. Well, finally found a Sherwood Forest purple emperor, and this is the butterfly that's emerged from the pupa that I showed you in the last video, and it's took a liking to this rather strange chap that just happens to be wandering by, whoever he is. It's obviously an hour or two out. I'm surprised it's not flown off. And we still don't know whether it's male or female yet. The census is that this beautiful purple emperor is indeed a male. We've just come to check on it, and the pupa's still hanging up, and it was sat on the leaf about a foot below where the pupa is, and it made this short flight straight onto Nick Brownlee's arm. Thank goodness it didn't go any further. Oh, it's settled down for the night. Well, it turns out this purple emperor has better taste than I thought it had, because it's made the long distance flight of about 2 feet from Nick's arm to my chest. Can't stay here all day though, can it? As happy as I am to see this beautiful butterfly sat on my chest, I'd still like to see it flying around the treetops or perched on some dung somewhere, rather than this strange situation.
So when they're clean, aren't they?
Well, they're immaculate things. I mean, they're one of the few butterflies that are really as beautiful on the underside, if not more beautiful on the underside, as they are on the upper side. Always wary of men, strange men, getting close to my chest. Well, I suppose this is a suitable way to almost end this video. Always hoped that one day I'd see a purple emperor, but just didn't think it'd be this close. So after that nice little bit of reminiscing, I never thought this leaf would still be here, because what I can remember, the pupa was barely attached. The pupa wobbled or dangled itself. It wasn't strongly fixed to the pad of silk at all by the cremaster. So it's amazing that it's withstood the rains. But even though the leaf is dead, and dangly leaves that I'm looking for probably won't be dead like this, this is what I'm looking for. leaf that does that is attached by a tiny silken thread. Finally got a dangly leaf, just not quite what I'm after. I was going to do that, and then I woke up. But I like days like this. The front's getting ever closer, that cold front that I mentioned earlier. I need to start and work my way back and head back towards the car, and that's pretty much what I'm doing now. I've just got to go along here a bit more by the last of the beautiful autumn colour on these beeches. Just hope these beeches are here to see another autumn. A lot of trees are marked up all around this area. But I do like it, woodland or the forest here, when it's really windy and the wind howls through the top of the trees. Makes you feel alive. Does me. So atmospheric, woodland. It's starting to get rather wet, and I've still got quite a long way to go. The centre tree is about 100 or so yards behind me. At least once I get to that, it's downhill all the way. But unfortunately, no purple emperor larva, no dangly leaves associated directly with purple emperor larva. I did find 2 dangly leaves, as you've seen. One that still had one of last year's pupa attached. Never thought that would still even be on the tree. Quite amazed at that. The other one was another dangly leaf, but a dangly leaf associated more with a stray line of silk from a passing spider, in all honesty. But certainly with no sign of a larva, of a purple emperor larva associated with it. So there's still lots of leaves on these sallows, and there'll probably continue to be leaves on these sallows into December, unless we have a really good sort of cold spell, or this rain gets increasingly heavier, which it's starting to do. So I'd best crack on and come back another day.